All right, welcome Dynasty Strong Level Up Squad to this special team call that we're doing on Wednesday today. We have a good friend of mine on here as our special guest, and I'll give her, I'll go through kind of her accolades, let you guys know who she is, but you guys might recognize her as one of the BODi trainers. But I first met Jenny as she was a coach previously on this team. She was a Star Diamond leader and coach on this team. Went on to make her own workouts, and then, as you guys know, got recruited by BODi, so she's an official BODi trainer. So I absolutely love that, because our mission is helping people really find their passion, use their story to connect with people and to do what they love with their life and with their time. So I love seeing Jenny out there doing all of her dance moves and inspiring people and bringing awesome energy to the whole BODi network. So Jenny is a fitness expert. She's a certified nutrition coach and a weight loss specialist who's been featured in major publications with Beachbody, Nike, Pop Sugar, Bowflex, and more. She's the creator of Glow Up and Fit Footy Club, and is a founding trainer for, as you guys know, Beachbody's innovative streaming platform, BODi. With a health and fitness career spanning over a decade, she has helped thousands of women transform their bodies and health with practical tips and sustainable solutions. She coaches women on how to optimize their nutrition, fitness, and overall well-being to become the healthiest, happiest, and most confident versions of themselves. So with that being said, Jenny, I know we have a timeline to work on, so I'm going to pass it right over to you and let you take it over.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Scotty, for having me. And hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm just curious to know, feel free to type in the chat box how long you've been a Beachbody coach for, or excuse me, a BODi coach for. And if you've ever taken my workout or a class of mine. I'm just curious to see who knows me and how long you've been on this journey. Like I said, Scotty was my coach back in the day. 2012, I believe, was when I first got introduced to Beachbody. I saw an infomercial on T25, and that was a time when I was not into health and fitness at all. I was actually a dancer, pursuing a dance career, and I was around, early 20s around that time. And I was really struggling to make ends meet financially. As a dancer, you might assume, it's very hard to kind of make it in the industry. I was competing against 400 other dancers at these cattle calls, and I would be rejected over and over and over again. Just imagine being a 20-something-year-old, going to an audition, driving 2 hours, waiting an hour, standing in a line of 5 other girls, and someone comes up to you and either says, you can stay, or no, thank you, please go. And this is at a time when you didn't even get to show your dance skills. You were literally just judged solely by how you looked. And so imagine what that could do to your self-esteem and your confidence as a young 20-year-old. So I had a lot of self-esteem issues growing up. I felt that, oh my, if I just lost, 5 to 10 pounds, I would then be able to book the role. If I just, got this stomach pudge off of me, I would be able to feel more confident when I was dancing in front of the judges. And so I came into the fitness world because not necessarily of a need to lose a ton of weight. I don't have this huge physical transformation, but for me, it was a mental transformation that I was looking for, because I constantly felt like I was never good enough. And so I always felt that I needed to change my body in order to be more confident and to feel loved and approved and accepted by whoever, whether it was the judges or in relationships or my friend circle. And so I found Beachbody while I was lazily sitting on a couch one day and thought, okay, if I just commit to 25 minutes of working out every single day, I'll be able to achieve my fitness goals. It'll give me that confidence, et cetera, et cetera. And so that's how I found Scotty. I ended up researching him on YouTube, and he was such a pivotal person in my life in my early 20s, and really helped me see what is possible for me, not just in fitness, but in business and life. And it made me realize, that anyone just like you can not only change their life physically, but also change their life mentally, emotionally, and in your career and in your business and in your life. And so Beachbody was truly that stepping stone for me to seek more out of life. My dream of becoming a dancer eventually became a dream of becoming like a fitness star. I loved fitness. I fell in love with it, but I still had that performer inside of me where I still wanted to be on camera. I still wanted to be in that commercial or like lead that live event or whatever. And so through a lot of personal development and a lot of just kind of seeking what I really want out of life, I took that really scary plunge to say, maybe this isn't the right path for me because there's something out there that I don't know what it is yet, but there's something out there and I have to go for it. I have to go for it. So I ended up pausing Beachbody coaching. I still was a coach, but I paused it. Still loved Beachbody programs and the trainers and everything. But I knew deep down inside that there was a part of me that I needed to put my name out there and create my own products and programs. So I ended up being a personal trainer, group fitness instructor, was kind of going around all the different gyms in LA, just kind of putting myself out there. I ended up getting a fitness agent and I thought, oh my gosh, okay, now that I have a fitness agent, they're just going to give me all of these gigs to book. I'm going to become a star. They're going to give everything to me. But it wasn't like that. It was far and few between. I barely got anything from my fitness agent, but there was one audition that didn't really pay a lot of money, but I was like, I could always use more money. And it was a photo shoot. It was a photo shoot for a bike. And all you had to do was sit on the bike and look pretty and just smile. And at the time, I wasn't even like a spin instructor or cycle instructor. I actually didn't like cycling, but I booked the gig. And when I was at the gig, there was a man who I didn't know who he was. He ended up being Jeffrey Scott, which is one of our higher executives in BODi. We got to talking and he basically said, send me your stuff. Send me your stuff. I'm looking for talent. And I had no idea what that meant at the time, but I sent him my stuff. I sent him YouTube videos of me teaching classes to nobody because I didn't have a following at the time. But I sent him everything that I could. I ended up auditioning for this role and it ended up being BODi. And so now, full circle moment, what started my career is now where I'm at now. And if I didn't take that scary risk of following my dream that was inside of my heart, I don't think I would have ever had this opportunity to do what I do now, because this is truly my dream come true. Being on stage, being with the best fitness company in the world, being able to impact your guys' lives and use this platform as a way to share my own life struggles and my own challenges and use that as a way to inspire other people, to let them know that it's possible for them too. Like, this is truly a dream come true. And so what I want to kind of share about that story is that failure, while it may seem terrible, is actually a gift, because there were so many moments in this career span that I guess of 10 years since 2012-ish, where I failed over and over again, being rejected by all of those judges at my dance auditions, by my fitness auditions. I ended up auditioning for Jericho's Morning Meltdown program as a backup. And I was so close to booking that role. And as soon as I learned that I didn't book the part, I cried my eyes out because I thought, oh my God, this is my chance. This is my chance to become a star. I cried my eyes out because I didn't book that role. There were so many failures that I had, not only in my business and in my career, but also with my own nutrition. I would do so many fad diets, everything and anything you've heard of, I've done. And I would always struggle with my weight. I was a yo-yo dieter, a secret binge eater, couldn't lose 5 pounds for the life of me. And those moments back in the day, you're like, God, I wish it were easier. Like, you just wish that like you could get it, you could figure it out. But in hindsight, I realized that those failures are what make me so successful today. Because if I didn't have those failures, I wouldn't have grown. I wouldn't have learned. I wouldn't have had that experience to be able to relate to other people. I wouldn't have those growing pains of learning how to grow a business, and all of that knowledge and all of those skills that you learn through failure actually help you become a stronger person, physically, mentally, emotionally, and as an entrepreneur and business owner. So I would encourage you guys to look at failure as a path to success. It is not a detour. It is not a roadblock. It is the path. It is the path. You have to fail in order to succeed. It moves you closer to your goals. I remember when I was a coach, I would struggle so hard. There's sometimes certain months, I don't know, I guess, let's say August, right? When everyone's kind of going out and having fun with their summer plans. They don't want to work out at home. I remember I would struggle so hard to get Success Club 5. But all of that hard work of planting those seeds and reaching out to people would eventually pay off later when the next month in September, people were ready, back to school, back on track. I would get Success Club 24, right? So realize that you're going to have ups and downs on the journey. There are going to be months where you're just killing it and months where business goes down or it falls flat. But realize like that's not a bad thing. It is a part of the process. When I'm talking to clients who work with me one-on-one and they have really big weight loss goals, I tell them, you are going to stall. You will plateau. You might gain some weight. You might lose it, but you might gain some weight. And the reason why is because success is never a linear line. There are ups and downs. There are detours. There are roadblocks. There are things that are going to hold you back. But ultimately, if you continue to have that why and that dream and that vision for yourself, and you keep going and you stay consistent, you'll eventually get there. So that's my big takeaway on kind of avoiding, on failure, reframing it in your mind to realize it is all a part of the process. And it's what's going to make you actually stand out from the rest of the pack. I think it's so much more relatable as Beachbody coaches that you might not be at that goal weight yet, or you might not be that fitness expert who knows everything about how to lose weight and build muscle. And that's not why you're here. You're here because you need to be relatable. People come to me because they deal with body image issues and insecurity issues. And I'm telling you, it's like, I'm able to find my target market because I know exactly what they're dealing with and I can speak on that. So know that your weaknesses are actually your strengths. The second thing that I want to talk about is creating habits that last. So I'm curious, I haven't even looked at the chat box yet, but tell me a habit that you are currently working on right now that is difficult for you to be consistent in. And I'm going to go ahead and start reading some of your stuff. Okay, getting to bed at a decent time, not snacking at all in the evening, cleaning up my nutrition. Okay, I want you to get very specific on those things, right? Because cleaning up my nutrition, I have no idea what that means. Nighttime routine. So here's my first tip on creating habits that last is you got to get very specific on what the actual goal is. So when it is cleaning up your nutrition, okay, what specifically? Are you talking about your late night snacking? Or are you talking about that chocolate that you have every single day, or, the munchies that you have late at night? Getting more specific is going to definitely help bring clarity, not only to you, but also to me. So the reason why, let's just talk about habits in general. We are all running on autopilot every single day, and it's what helps our brain be more efficient and our body to be more efficient. It's easier to be at homeostasis because change is difficult. It requires a lot of mental thinking, energy, a lot of physical energy as well, to think of new things to do and to act in a different way than you're used to. Right. So most of what we do is unconscious, right? When you drive a car, you're not even thinking about driving. You're thinking about what you have to do later. And you just end up at your end destination without a hitch, right? So in order to create new habits that actually last, the best tip that I can share with you, I do have a couple, is to stack an unconscious habit with a conscious habit that you're working on. So for example, I'll give you an example for me. Unconscious habit. Every single morning I make a cup of coffee. I don't even think about it. I just do it. That's literally the first thing I do after I go to the restroom. And so a habit that I was working on a few years ago was I wanted to drink more water throughout my day. I don't think I was drinking enough. And so what I ended up doing was I stacked my unconscious habit of making my cup of coffee and put a conscious habit immediately after. In other words, drinking a glass of water first thing in the morning. So as soon as my coffee starts brewing, while I'm waiting, I'm drinking that glass of water. So you're putting a conscious habit on top of an unconscious habit. Let's do another example. Let's say you want to practice a gratitude routine late at night. So where in your nighttime routine can you start adding that in? Maybe it's right after you brush your teeth, or maybe right before you go to bed, you have a journal set aside at your bedside table, and you're going to remember to write down 3 things that you're grateful for every single night. So you want to think about habit stacking, putting one conscious habit on top of an unconscious habit. The second thing that I want you to think about is removing this idea of that all or nothing mentality. And I know a lot of us in the BODi community go through this, because when we start a plan, let's say you're starting Sure Thing or you're starting a BODi block, you commit to 5 days of workouts and then 10K steps a day, and then drinking your 8 glasses of water, and then eating all of your containers. And it's just like too much sometimes all at once. And it just leads to burnout because you're trying to literally do way too many things and you're busy. There's just not enough time and mental space to be able to tackle all of those things on. So what I recommend instead is to focus on one new habit at a time. And I know it sounds counterintuitive and it seems really slow and it seems very it's not going to give you that like quick before and after photo that we see on social media. But the thing is, that's what works, because we can only focus on one thing at a time. So let's say you're focusing on your water intake. That's all you're going to focus on for 1 to 2 weeks. Master that before moving on to the next. Maybe your next habit is going to be going to bed at 9:30 or 10 p.m. every single night. You're going to master that first and then move on to the next. So the point is, you're building your habits one at a time as if you're building a house. You want to start with that foundation before going to the roof or to the chimney, etc. Okay. Same thing with diets, right? A lot of people are doing a lot of the fad diets. They want to do the intermittent fasting. They want to do the keto. While those are great, those are awesome. If you can hold on, if you can do that like long term and it works for you, that's awesome. But little do they think about, okay, what are my foundational habits? Like, am I eating real food most of the time? Am I having takeout most days of the week? Like, there's so many basic elements to our nutrition that we can fix before moving on to the flashy diet that's out there. So focusing on that foundation is super important. And then last but not least, habits are going to be created by changing your identity. Okay. It's not about all of the steps and the actions and the doing. If your identity isn't shifting to the person that has what you desire, you're never going to keep those habits long term. They will eventually fade away. And this is probably the biggest reason why I struggled with my weight and my self-esteem for 10 years, is because I would do all the things, but I still, inside of me, internally, I still felt like I wasn't enough. I still felt like I wasn't worthy of success. I still felt that I didn't have what it took to reach my goals. And so my identity wasn't aligning with the actions that I was taking. So I would end up not committing to my workouts or my diet plan or my career goals or my business goals. So in order to create habits that last, I want you to think about, who do I need to become in order to reach this next level? And I want to encourage you guys to think about creating like an alter ego. If you don't see yourself currently as that person yet, create an alter ego. And I'm going to give you a great example of Beyonce. So Beyonce, years ago, in case you don't know her upbringing, she was actually a choir singer, and she got her vocal training by singing in churches. And it was a very conservative upbringing. And so obviously you see Beyonce growing and becoming very successful with Destiny's Child, and then eventually branching off to her own labels and music. But she actually was very self-conscious, and she was very nervous about going on stage to perform in front of thousands of people. She would be super scared and very insecure. So what she ended up doing was she created an alter ego, and she named her Sasha Fierce. In case anyone knows Sasha Fierce, she has a whole album. She has a whole thing about Sasha Fierce. And every time she would step on stage, she would literally step into this role of Sasha Fierce. And I love that, because she would step into this energy that wasn't necessarily her own. But over time, what ended up happening is she eventually became Sasha Fierce. She no longer had to step into this role. She eventually just became her. The identity just became her. So I want you to think about creating an alter ego for yourself. Imagine where you want to be a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And I want you to list out, what are the things that she does or he does on a daily basis? What's their morning routine like? What do they eat? What do they not eat? What do they drink? What do they consume as far as social media goes and TV? What are the things that they listen to? What are the programs or the books or the podcasts that they listen to? Who are they surrounded by? What are their standards? What are their limiting beliefs, if they have any? What do they do when they have a problem that holds them back? How do they overcome challenges? Think about all of these different things, these scenarios that happen in their day-to-day life, and list it out very clearly. And what I want you to do is, over time, start to do those things. Start to act as if you were already that person. I'm going to give you one example of how I do that in my daily routine right now. So I think if you were to know me as just Jenny the person, I'm actually a very introverted person. I like to stay at home. I'm not very like extroverted. Like if I go to a party, it actually gives me a lot of anxiety, because I feel like I have to like give my energy to so many people. I'm naturally a very homebody type of person who likes intimate settings. And so imagine having to then step on stage with BODi to perform in front of hundreds, if not thousands of people. That's very scary for someone who is introverted and doesn't really like big crowds and all that. So what I personally do is, every time before I step on stage, I literally am just changing my physicality. I'm listening to music I'm literally stepping into a more confident version of myself. So my shoulders come back, my chest is proud. I start taking space and I start speaking with more confidence. I start speaking with a bigger, I guess, with a lower tone, because that cultivates confidence within me. When you're a little higher toned, it doesn't give you it doesn't give you as much authority. But when you're down here, it gives you that sense of confidence and assurance in yourself and when you're teaching. So I literally step into this instructor role that is worthy of teaching in front of hundreds, if not thousands of people. And so that's the person that I step into. But as soon as I go into my car, I'm back in my normal Jenny. So just as simple as that, changing your physicality. Let's say you're going on social media and you want to talk about BODi, you want to share your story, or you're putting yourself out there on social media. Step into that person who's not afraid of being on camera. Step into that person. You don't have to be that person. That's okay. It just can be a little shade of you. I think that's it. I know I went on a tangent here, and there's so many more things that I can share, but I guess I would love to just open it up to Q&A, or if there's any particular topic that you want me to dive deeper on, I'm happy to.
Awesome. I loved everything so far that you shared. There were so many powerful tips, and you were even making me think. I shared, as people gather the thoughts for a question, I wrote it in the comments, but literally, like, as I was getting ready to start coaching back in the day, like I was afraid to become a coach for like 8 months. And like, I don't recommend people like change your Facebook profile or like open a new one or anything like that. But I literally changed it from, like, my name's Scott Hobbs, but my nickname with some of my good friends was Scotty. And like, when I played music in my band, I was Scotty to the guys. And I'm like, I'm going to be Scotty Hobbs, the top coach. And I remember my coach, Lindsay, even saying, Scotty Hobbs, that sounds like a top coach name. And I just, it's kind of like what you're saying. I stepped into this, like I created a whole new person on social media, like that I wasn't before. And so I loved hearing that example and how we could do that. So anybody have any questions for Jenny? She has maybe 10 more minutes before she needs to leave. Anything you want her to dive deeper on? Everybody's so quiet. Jenny, we're still a team of introverts.
I love it.
Okay, I'm going to be brave here because nobody's
Sam, brand new coach Sam from Canada.
I'm going to be super selfish too, because I'm good with all the food and the workouts and all that stuff and those habits, but I know I have this big mental glitch that because I've been without like financial resources for so long, I kind of get stuck in this space where I think everybody is broke and they're not going to pay for things. Despite me, like, I would sell anything to get Shakeology, right? So it's like, there's just this mental block. So do you have any suggestions for kind of pushing through that habit? I think I do need to change like who I am, like be business Sam, like not care like if it was somebody else's business. And so I don't know if that makes any sense, but if you have any ideas, please. I know that's like my major glitch.
Yeah. Sam, when you were just getting introduced to Beachbody, was money an issue for you as well?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So many of the excuses that people have, we tend to project that onto others, and we naturally will attract those who are exactly like us, right? And just like what I was saying, I attract people who are insecure about their body when they don't necessarily need to lose weight, just like me. They needed to change their mindset, and so that is now becoming my asset, because I can attract a lot of those people and I can help them with that. So I think for you, Sam, it's again creating this new perception or narrative for yourself. Maybe you have a block. Maybe you still feel that Beachbody or BODi or Shakeology is still expensive for you. And so maybe that is actually being projected towards the people you are talking to as well. So I would say, yeah, maybe consider changing the simple language in your head. Like think about all of the other gym memberships out there that you can pay for, the personal trainers that you can pay for, the nutritionists that you can pay for. Think about all of those things. It really does add up to thousands of dollars a month if you really calculate that. And so maybe you don't see the value in BODi yet, and others don't see it either. So maybe you can hone in on sharing, okay, what am I really getting for this price? And help them understand you're getting so much out of this membership. I don't know if that's helpful.
No, it is. I do personally see the value in it. Like that, my background's a lot of health issues. So yeah, we've spent a lot of money sometimes, right? So yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking now that I've just barely started again. So what you said about attracting those people, like I'm really conscious now of who I would have naturally gone to talk to instead of people that can definitely afford it and no, not even blink like they're. Yeah, so it's neat. It's a totally new setup for me. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Yeah, and just keep I'm a little woo-woo. And so I would encourage you to just keep repeating like the affirmations of like, there's plenty of people out there that can easily afford this. Like there's plenty of fish in the sea.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly what I need to do. I need to reprogram the noise, right?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
I think that's one of the things I did too, Jenny. Now that you say that, like, thinking of top coaches when I first started, or even last year, there's a girl in the network that was hitting Success Club 1,200 on some months. And so like literally when I hear that, you know, they're viral on TikTok and Instagram and all the places and with their transformation. And I'm like, okay, if there's 600 people, you know, going to one person, I can certainly find 5 to 10 people in my hometown or on my social media platforms. And even when I started, I saw people hitting like Success Club 30, Success Club 50. And I was like, there's people out there, even though my friends at my job are not willing to pay for this, like I was kind of worried about in the beginning, then, you know, there's people out there. I just have to position myself kind of like you were saying, Jenny, like create this person that is confident in this. I know how much it's helped me, and I can go out and find or attract those people. They don't have to be my next door neighbor.
Exactly.
Yeah. They can see after time and then come later, but there's people out there right now. Cool. Any other questions? I think Sam, on the question about Shakeology as well, I think one of the reasons I was Dustin's on here right now. I met Justin at our local gym, and he signed up as a coach today. So shout out to Justin for hopping on last minute. But Dustin and I were chatting, and we were just kind of chatting about Shakeology and things, supplements and stuff that we can help people with. And it just came out so natural. I was like, dude, like last night, like I was sick with strep throat last week, and I drank like 2 shakes a day. My daughter drinks 2 a day. My wife has 1 a day, and we order 3 bags. And so we ran out, and like, I literally sent my daughter with $100 at 11 p.m. to my mom's house to go buy an extra bag off of them. So just like knowing how much we love it and it serves us, it makes me so confident in sharing it with someone else, and being like, and just even telling someone like that small story like that, they're like, oh, this guy really loves this stuff. This is something that's that important to them that they'll like go make $100 trade at 11 p.m. when they run out. So just having that extra confidence in what it's done and talking about it will help as well, I think. Cool. Any other questions for Jenny before we let her go?
Well, if there are no questions, I'm happy. Can I share my motivational messages, Scotty?
Absolutely. We'll do
Okay.
that. We'll end it out.
Awesome. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. If you felt like it was inspiring to you and you were looking for more, I do have a free motivational text list where I send out a free motivational message every Monday. So I'm putting my number in the chat. It's 949-506-5149. Whip out your phone and just write the word BODi so that I know that you were on this call. Sorry if my earpods are going out on me right now. So just write BODi and I'll make sure to add you to the list, and I will send out just like a free message to help you kind of get your mindset right for the week. Sometimes it's a fitness tip or a nutrition tip or something else.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jenny, for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you're out there training tens of thousands of people on the BODi platform. So thank you for spending time with us today. And it was good to see you on here live. And thanks all of you guys on this team that showed up and took some advice and learned it. And if you took any video clips, put it up on Instagram, on your stories, share that you're learning, share that you're a part of this business, this community, and tag Jenny. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, team.
And if you guys aren't doing anything later, I'm doing a Cycle 30 90s mashup ride at, I think it's 2:15 Pacific Standard Time. So if anyone wants to cycle to Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, I'm your girl.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much. And we'll see you guys on